UFC 327 just concluded, and I'm going to give you my recap over the entire card. Said if Yuri lost this fight, I would shave my mustache. I haven't shaved since I was 18 years old. I'm 24 now. I'm a man of my word. Why, Yuri? Why? My disappointment is immeasurable. Um, yeah, let's get right to it. Starting with the early prelim opener. We had Chuck Say It Again Radke beating Francisco Prado. He said it again. I do have to say that. Charles Radke did say it again, and Rogan did not pull the mic. So that was cool. But I don't know how many more times Paramount Plus is gonna allow that, you know? This was a pretty sick fight. Prado came out fast. He looked pretty solid, pretty powerful on the feet. But Radke was able to take him down and just control him the entire time. In the second, Prado, the same thing happened. Prado reversed the takedown, though, or reversed the position, and Radke ended up cutting him on the forehead really bad, with elbows from the bottom. And then, in the third, Prado eye-poked Radke, lost a point. I am glad to see that happening. I think there's a few eye pokes that lost points immediately in on this card, and that's good to see. I do like to see that. So, we had Charles Radke getting this one done, and he got this one done. He was in a guillotine, like deep. Prado had a tight guillotine on him, and he ended up just working his way out and got the decision. Charles Radke got this one done. Next up the card, we had Kelvin Gastelum fighting Vicente Luque. Gastelum looked good, man. He looked good on the feet, and then he just got dumped by an uppercut. Like this guy has a hell of a chin against really heavy power punchers, and he gets dumped by Luque in his first fight at 85, in the UFC, I believe. Wild. And then literally gave his neck right into Luque's Darce choke. Just the fight IQ on this card was not necessarily the best, you could say. But yeah, we had Kelvin winning this fight. He did not. Luque got it done by Darce. Good on him. I think he's tied 5th for most finishes in the UFC now. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Next up, we had Chris Padilla versus Markel Medeiros. I thought Padilla won this fight. I chose Medeiros to win, and I was not surprised when I heard Padilla winning this fight. I did honestly think it was kind of weird that one judge did see it a draw. So, the fact that it was rescored and actually found to be a draw was kind of crazy. I thought, obviously Padilla did get cut. He did get cut bad, but I thought he was just doing more in the rest of the fight. A couple of big moments versus a whole bunch of decent moments from Padilla. So I really thought Padilla won this round. I think the cut happened in the first. Yeah, so the cut happened in the first. So if anything, I maybe could see the first going to Medeiros just from a damage standpoint. But the second and third I thought were very clear to Padilla. Next up the card, we had Tatiana Suarez beating Lupe Godinez, and that is exactly what she did. Yeah, I mean, she just looked a lot better than Lupe. Um, yeah, I mean, ended up getting the rear naked. Lupe fought it off, I guess you could say, kind of. Um, this just wasn't like a very. This didn't look like a very high level WMMA fight. If I'm being honest, compared to the last few that we've had, you know what I mean. That the last few have really risen the bar, and these guys didn't necessarily meet expectations, in my opinion. But we had Tatiana winning, and that's exactly what she did. Next up, we had Mateusz Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovic. I had Mateusz winning this one. I'm not really sure why everyone was surprised that he did. Ribovic hasn't shown me that he's top level, and Gamrot's consistently been a top level guy. You know, if you are not a top level guy, he's gonna beat you, or at least he will make it a very very close fight. You know what I mean? So he got this one done against the newcomer, I guess you could say, unranked guy jumping up trying to get that ranking. Gamrot got this one done by sub. It was just a dominant performance all around. Solid fight by Mateusz Gamrot. Next up, we had Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. Solid performance by Holland. It looked to me like he was actually taking this fight seriously in training. Like maybe he actually really trained for it. So, props to Holland. Brown cannot take leg kicks. The first 4 leg kicks probably had Brown's leg all welted up. And, from that point on, Holland was kind of just controlling the fight. Not a whole lot, not a whole lot to say. Good job to Kevin Holland. Hopefully he takes welterweight seriously. Hopefully he, gets back into the groove of things and actually goes on a bit of a run now. Next up, we had Patricio Pitbull fighting Aaron Pico. I didn't think Pico's chin was going to be able to withstand Pitbull. It did. Pico looked good, but he was getting rocked by a significant amount of not very heavy shots. It was like a 1-2, and the 2 would kind of like Pico would be getting out of the way, and the 2 would connect a little bit, and he'd kind of stumble him. He'd get stumbled by a jab. I clearly Pico won. I'm not trying to argue that at all, but someone with some big power might be able to put him away again. Hopefully his chin is not just gone, because I do like Pico. Like I said, it would be good to see Pico get a win in the UFC, and I'm glad he did. We can stop calling him a prospect now, though. He's 29. He's got 14 fights. some 10 to 14 fights, somewhere around there. He's not really a prospect anymore. He's fought in Bellator and PFL for a while. He's kind of just a fighter. You know what I mean? But good job, Pico. Got this one done. Next up, on to the main card of Doom and Despair. It started off good. It started off strong. We had Cub Swanson versus Nate Landwehr. Cub got this one done. Just put belt to ass on Landwehr. I mean, this was a solid fight. This was a great retirement performance. Nate made it a good fight. He could have fought differently, but he didn't. He made it a good fight. I mean, it was just a good retirement performance. Cub got this one done by TKO KO. I mean, yeah. A lot of emotions on this card. I gotta tell you, a lot of emotions on this card. Next up, we had Dom Reyes versus Johnny Walker. I don't really know. I mean, this was wild. Walker looked pretty good. I really thought this was going to be over in like 30 seconds. I did not think either of these guys were going to be able to bring it to a decision. And they did. They were terrified of actually fighting and getting knocked out, it seemed. Neither guy really threw anything. Compared to the rest of the card, this was a boring fight. This was probably the most boring fight, in my opinion, other than, I guess even Suarez Godinez, that ended in a sub. So this was probably the most boring fight. I will say I was surprised to hear Dom won this fight. I thought Johnny did more, just in my live reaction, I suppose. But I mean, good on Dom. Gets back in the win column. Yeah, I saw it going Johnny's way, and I guess that's why I'm not a UFC judge. Next up, alright. This was a sick fight. This was a dope ass fight. This was awesome. I chose Curtis Blaydes to win. I'm not a Josh Hokett hater. Throughout this fight week, yes, he was very cringy. Some of the shit he said was just kind of weird and cringy and corny, But I've liked this guy since he's been in the UFC. He's a character for sure, and something with my autism just makes it like, oh yeah, this guy's funny. I like this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah, Hokett won this fight, belt to ass. It was back and forth. I don't know how to explain the level of banger that this fight was. This was just an awesome fight to watch. Yeah, I got it wrong, obviously. I really thought Blaydes was going to be too much. I thought it was going to be a case of, Hokett's had 2 fights in the UFC against not the best opponents. And I thought it was going to be a case of doing well against unranked guys, and then once you get to that that certain level of ranking in the heavyweight division, guys actually become like hard to fight, I thought it was gonna be a case of Hokett gets a case of a fraud check, kind of, but that he was still gonna be a solid fighter. He's not a legit heavyweight. He's more of a light heavyweight, middleweight. Probably now he's more of a light heavyweight. Excuse me. Probably now he's more of a light heavyweight. But yeah, I mean, he gets this one done. Now he's fighting Derek Lewis on the White House card. That's wild. I mean, fourth fight in the UFC, Derek Lewis, White House card in front of DJT. That's wild. Very, very entertaining fight. Props to both of these guys. Bedtime said it great. You cannot hate on Curtis Blades for losing this fight. There is no shame in losing a fight in this way. He was trying to win this fight this entire time, or the entire time. And, yeah, I mean, great scrap between these two. Next up, we had Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. I had Costa winning. I just thought it was going to be a skill gap. And, I mean, it just kind of looked like it was a heart gap, I guess. Azamat got head kicked and kind of just fell down. It did look like he broke his arm, though. But, I mean, just kind of a masterclass by Paulo. Very, very solid performance by him. I'm not really sure how the light heavyweight division is going to play out. I do have some theories I'll go over in a second. But, I mean, Costa looked good. I think he could be in contention, believe it or not, within a fight or two, Yeah, solid win by Costa. Took the O away from Azamat Murzakanov. I've considered ritualistic seppuku many a time in the last 24 hours. Yeah, I hate my life. I loved my mustache. I did not want to shave my mustache. That was not fun to watch, let me tell you. I had a couple of buddies come over, and they can attest. I was heartbroken. That was tough. I don't agree with everybody saying that Yuri's chin is cooked. I don't see that. I don't think, with the whole I was giving him mercy argument, and people counter arguing, oh, you were still kicking him, you were still fighting him. Yuri's got such a different fight style than what he was fighting him with when he went down. I mean, if he was truly just like, I'm going to put you out of here right now, I don't care about your injury or whatever. He would have been bouncing around. He would have been, it's very different. I'm not taking anything away from Carlos Ulberg here. That he won fair and square. But it was not the same Yuri. I don't necessarily think it was a mercy as much of he felt it was dishonorable to just put it on someone who's clearly had a injury that's changed the outcome of the fight. That it was unintentional. Obviously, Yuri didn't throw anything for that to happen. Carlos didn't throw anything, and I guess he kind of dodged weird and it popped, or it kind of just looked like he stepped out to throw and it popped. But I don't subscribe to the theory that Yuri's chin is cooked, though. His defenses were. You could tell that his defenses were down a little bit, and that was just right on the button. That was a solid left hook right on the button that I believe 99% of the roster would go down to. And if you look, all right, if you this might be a bit of a cope for sure. I'll take it. This might be a bit of a cope, but if you look, Yuri folded for sure. He went down bad, but then he rolled and he started trying to dodge the follow up shots. So it's not like he was just like Macy Barber in there. It's not like he was. It's not like he was Bryce Mitchell in there. But I also understand the argument that Yuri is 0-3 with 3 knockouts in title fights. Actually, excuse me. He's 1-3 with 1 sub and 3 knockouts in title fights. 0-3 in his last 3. But if you look at the fights, all right, this first round knockouts, it's not this call it cope, call it whatever you want, but this first round knockout is not the same type of first round knockout as an Alex Pereira first round knockout. I guess. I'm trying to think of title fight first round KOs that I'm blanking. But you know what I mean? Like, Oldberg wasn't being super dominant when before the injury. These guys, the injury happened early. I think it happened too early to say. Without the injury, this outcome wouldn't have happened. If you really, really break it down, I understand the argument that Yuri's 0-3, but if you watch back the KO, now, Yuri's my favorite fighter, for sure, like, without a doubt. So it was tough to watch the KO. So I was looking in the background. One of the angles, you can see Hunter Campbell, Sean Shelby, and I'm trying to think of who, it might have been Trump sitting there. But, judging by Hunter Campbell's live ringside reaction, I wouldn't be surprised if they give Yuri a rematch. I really wouldn't be surprised if they give him a rematch or put him in a number 1 contenders fight. Because, I mean, who has Yuri not fought in the top 8? Jan? Ankalaev? You know what I mean? Yeah, so for the next fight, I'm not really sure because I don't know about Oldberg's injury. I do like Bedtime's thoughts on this. If he's gonna be out for a year plus, vacate. Anything over 6 months, vacate. That's what everyone else has done. That's what Yuri did when he had the shoulder injury. That's what Jamal Hill did when he blew his Achilles out. It's what Pereira did when he was moving up and he didn't want to keep cutting. If he's out for anything more than 6 months, vacate. If not, I mean, here's the thing, he fights once every 6 months anyway. So it's like, I can't even pretend to like this guy. I can't even pretend like like I'm excited that this guy is champ. You know what I mean? Um, Surprised he didn't start stripping in the octagon after he won. Freaking whack job. It's alright. We will come back. We will come back better than ever. We went 7-4-1 technically with the draw. 7-5 if you I don't really count it as a draw, but I will be putting it as a draw. Yeah, I mean picks will be better. Why, Yuri? Why? Thank you for watching. This has been Wheezy MMA. I'm Wheezy, and I'm out. Have a good one.